I don't like the word difficult. I like the word challenging.
How challenging?
Thank you. Well, my name is Thep, and I am the head of Solana All Stars, the largest crypto education platform in the world. Before crypto, I had a very boring job. I worked for a REIT, real estate investment firm. I managed a portfolio. I say boring because, corporate world and all that. And I've been in crypto since 2017 in some format, and have been in Solana ecosystem since 2020 in some sort of fashion as an investor, etc. And then I came across with Thep and became a user and became, bag holder, if you will. I find myself being part of the community where I was on Discord talking to people, talking to the founders. As you can, imagine back in 2021, you could find every founder on Discord, which still is the case. Sometimes. Back then, it was a bit more common, and met with George, and then our paths crossed. I just was a user and a believer of Solana as well as Thep. And George somewhat convinced me that I should do this full time, and he pursued it for 2.5 years. And I think I started as part-time, and then finally I pulled the trigger last year around this time. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, Solana is known for its speed, and the whole idea, in my opinion, behind, for example, initiatives such as Solana All Stars is to onboard new people into crypto. Does the performance of Solana make it much easier for you to onboard people? Is it super easy for you to explain why this is the chain that people need to be on?
Yeah, look, I had to convince myself first.
Yeah.
And I was a user of other ecosystems prior. And as soon as I used Solana, I was sold. It's like, okay, well, hold on. It doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to cost that much. And my transaction can actually go through more frequently. So I was sold first, right? And I couldn't sell something to someone else, meaning onboard someone to something else that I didn't believe in. Of course, Solana makes it easy. It's fast, it's cheap, especially us being in emerging markets. I couldn't justify doing it anywhere else, right? Solana makes it very easy. It's a no-brainer. Not only that, there are other chains that are competing potentially with the same speed and potentially cost. They're coming up, as we all know. But do they really have the community? Is that something that we can, sustain teaching people, repeatedly? Okay, well, let's say there's another fast ecosystem or chain, and it's cheap. But do people actually use it, right? So I think Solana passed that barrier where it makes it easier to onboard people to Solana because there's so many things to talk about.
Exactly. I mean, the number of builders in Solana is just crazy. Even after 2022, when all that chaos was going on, personally, I started, I got this fear into me, okay, maybe Solana won't survive. But then the community just did a 180 flip. I was like, okay, we're going back stronger now, and now they're just building, and it's getting crazier than ever right now. And as you mentioned, I think, no matter how good the blockchain is right now, if they don't have the community, if no one uses it, what's it good for?
Exactly.
So I wanted to touch upon NFTs because personally, I've become a community member of many NFT projects, but I didn't really profit from them. It's just that's the only badge I have, the community member.
Right.
And we talked with Dana as well before this. He's not that much of a fan of NFTs, but
he's not? That's news to me. Okay.
Yeah, he likes the technology because the way it's executed sometimes that's what he said.
Okay.
And how do you think, why are NFTs important, or are NFTs important to building communities?
Absolutely. Look, I'm an NFT holder. I don't ever sell my NFTs. Maybe just bad example here. Yeah, I'm a community member now, yes. I think NFTs are important. And I mean, look at monkeys, right?
Yeah.
It's the perfect example. You go through the bear market, bull market, and you're still a monkey. A monkey is a monkey. You can say that for many things, Mad Lad, and a few other NFTs that I can count. I recently saw a tweet somebody said in their tweet, I think it was Banana. He said that this NFT, I don't know which one he was referring to, but my NFT gave me more networking opportunities than my college degree did. So I think, maybe we have some PTSD from 2021 era. All those minting of, DGOS and everybody's being excited, and I don't know where DGOS is now, but we can't forget that they represent community and then belonging. I think NFTs are very important, and I do believe that we're going to, in the future, come to the point where we'll realize it was very obvious. I'm very hopeful and bullish on NFTs.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. And as you said it yourself, it's like when you have a nice watch, like it's a conversation starter in many places.
Exactly.
And for example, in crypto conferences, but even beyond crypto conferences, if you hold an NFT and you get to meet someone who also holds that NFT, you have a lot of things to talk about because you've been through all like the price floor increases or like...
Exactly. You're like, hey, you're as crazy as me. That feels good. I'm not alone.
Yeah, and like different from like coins or cryptocurrencies, with NFTs, you kind of like resonate with all of the other holders because you never know, for example, whether someone has sold their bag in crypto or not, but like with NFT, you still want to be categorized into that community. So I fully agree. But now I want to focus on Solana All Stars and how difficult was it to create this global community that you guys have managed to achieve?
So I think every task has a challenge, right?
Yeah.
As well as this one. Because I actually love the mission, I love the path. So however we get there, it's challenging or not challenging. I don't count how many challenges I had. I just try to, this is gonna sound cliche, but I try to learn from what worked and then replicate it elsewhere. So it's definitely challenging. If you're asking me what I learned from the experiences that I had, I learned that every country is unique, right? Yeah. Not everything can replicate. Every culture is unique. You can't teach one country the same way you teach it in another country. Their appetite is different. And I learned that some things applies everywhere else, right? So that's what I learned, and that's the challenging part of all this. What parts actually you can replicate, what parts you can't replicate, and you have to respect and understand the culture and cater your curriculum based on the needs of those people.
Yeah, and I love the part where you said that, you don't focus on the challenges, you just focus on the goal, basically, the end goal and the whole process of it. Because I think that's valid for all of crypto and every builder out there. Because if you're in crypto, you're gonna have way more challenges than, good days, I think, in my opinion, because that's how the market is right now, and it's still very early on in terms of infrastructure of being built and the foundation and everything. But yeah, so for example, hypothetically, I decide I've been using this term, by the way, every day, hypothetically.
Okay.
I decide to host an event.
Okay.
If that's possible through Solana All Stars. I decide to host an event in my country or in the region, so the Balkans. How is the process of basically doing that through you? I can get a partnership with you because I know some projects. If you use their branding, they try and help you. So do you do that? And how's the process if you do so?
Absolutely, yeah. Our process is a bit unorthodox from how crypto teams do it typically. Not just Solana, but everywhere else. I typically hire my country managers as a full-time employee. So we don't necessarily have individuals host our events. The reason behind that is we want to have a control over the content that we generate. We're extremely analytical on what we teach. We don't shield tokens. We try not to spread misinformation. We want to make sure the person that gets on stage is well educated on the subject that they're covering. So we find that with ever-changing people makes it very challenging and hard to accomplish that. Same thing applies to our regional managers. Our regional managers that cover different parts of whichever country we're representing, they are also full-time employees of ours. This could be a bit interesting for us, crypto crowd, but we also have conflict of interest rules where they're not to be affiliated with any other projects. Yeah. Because we want to keep the integrity of the education when they get on stage. So so that's our structure. That's why we don't necessarily work with individuals to host events. They're welcome to come join. We're very open to do partnerships with different people if they think that they have a crowd and they want to combine forces. But for the sake of, like I said, the integrity and the sake of the process of our educational content, we like to keep that within in-house.
And it makes sense because you guys don't play games when it comes to hosting these events, because you've been hosting like a lot of big events, like starting from Turkey and all the way to Nigeria, I think.
Yes.
And so what was like one of your favorite memories from like all these events? Maybe not, you can't like pick just one memory, but what was like one point where you said, I'm glad that I'm doing this,
There's so many. I can give you a few. We cover 6 different countries, so I can't be at all countries at once. Somehow I can't manage it. I don't know why. But sometimes like team members call me and say, hey, Thep, so we were expecting 120 people, 300 people showed up, we don't know what to do. Like, I like to handle those kind of good problems, if that makes sense. And sometimes that, I get a lot of people applying for positions. I like to drag that process to test their patience to see if they're gonna stick around. The longer that I like ignore them, if that's going to make them just walk away, or they actually want to work with us. And those are the ones that I usually typically hire, and that applies to country managers and regional managers. Those are like the moments that, I cherish. And I'll give you an example. This is something that I like to talk about. Maybe this is going to be a repeat. But our country manager from Egypt, he was hired 5 months ago. And I interviewed with him over 4 months. And it took us almost over a month for us to get on a call together. The guy is just like brilliant. He won't give up. He said, I want this job. I'm gonna get this job. I said, I'm not interested in Egypt. He's like, okay, I'm gonna make you interested in Egypt. And he did. Right now we're hosting events in Egypt and the highest turnout we have. Yeah, he has events like 300 people. And then when you look at the videos and pictures, every single person is actually like paying full attention to his content. A very exciting country, very exciting things going on. The protocols that we're helping with currently are very happy with the participation there as well.
Yeah, I mean, the guy achieved his goal basically.
Exactly, exactly.
So I know this is a Solana conference at the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm. But everyone I ask them about Ethereum because is it like, I mean, you said you first began getting involved with crypto back in 2020? Right? 2017, okay, so you know Ethereum?
Yes.
Perfect. I mean, you know Ethereum more than just cryptocurrency, you know it?
I traded meme coins on Ethereum. Perfect. Yeah, that level I know Ethereum.
Perfect.
Not technical, obviously.
Yeah. So, do you think that what you're doing right now on Solana could be done in Ethereum if let's say hypothetically again, Solana were to just die tomorrow, right? As a project, could you do the same thing in Ethereum, or is it the UI UX of Ethereum does it provide the same things that Solana provides for you guys specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm not a technical person. I don't know what's possible on chain when it comes to writing code or decentralization in a way that, you know, in the back end. Never claimed it. I like it that way because I like to keep it simple. I gave this example before where, look, you don't need to understand the mechanics of how internet works in order to use the internet, right? So I kind of want to like stay a step back, you know, take a step back from understanding all these mechanics because I don't want to sound, I don't want to start using gibberish with my teams, right? Like I'm here to find users. Wherever users feel their needs are, that's where I'm going to meet them. So if Ethereum becomes that chain where I can go to Venezuela and tell people you can actually, you know, convert your money to USDC and, you know, this is your safe haven from inflation. I don't care what the name is, but currently it's Solana, and that's what works. I can't, with conscience, go to those people and say the same thing about another ecosystem. I'm not a maxi by no means, but I also don't see anyone coming closer to what Solana has.
I agree with that. Well, speaking on maybe the Solana All-Stars community, you guys are all about zero gatekeeping. So, like personally, even though I'm not a developer, for example, I feel very comfortable speaking with anyone here, even if they're like Satoshi, I don't know.
Exactly.
So how do you manage to make this environment where everyone feels like super included?
That's a great question. So we were just talking about that. And we get this feedback, oh, this year the crowd is more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, last year there were more students at Crossroads, this year they're more knowledgeable. Look, All Stars Turkey was less than a year old last year. This year happens to be over 2 years old. Same people showed up. What does that mean? They learned, they grew, right? So before we felt that they were clueless potentially, right? Now they took those classes, they participated, and they're extremely excited to be here. That's why you see at 10 a.m. on Sunday, after 2 parties last night, they actually took all those seats. And my talk was actually in the morning, it was full house, right? So that shows like they're growing. I'm very proud of that. How do we do it? We actually go to smaller parts of every country that we represent. More remote, where communities are formed easily than a remote place like, metropolitan place like this. Istanbul has every ecosystem. You name the ecosystem, they have a presentation here. Like they have a rep and they host events. So there is a saturation in Istanbul. Whether you can think, oh, it's 18 million people, what kind of saturation are you talking about? Still that like the bones are like saturated, if that makes sense. So we go to the places nobody wants to go to. We actually show up. We say, come on, we want to meet you. We shake hands. And the people that we put on stage are not talking gibberish to them. And they are one of them. Every person that I hire used to be a DJ, right? So people can relate easily. They can say, okay, I can be that person. Or I can understand her better. You know, this is not a professor trying to tell you technical stuff or whatever, you know, a dev or a founder of a project. So I think that's where we make the difference.
Yeah, so personally, I think that education in crypto is like one of the most looked upon things, right? Because I've been writing content for different things and covering different topics, and I've noticed that when I speak to my friends, for example, I'm talking on a personal level right now because I resonate basically with what you're saying. When I speak to my friends, all they care about is like, oh, it's crypto, money. It's not all about money, right? It's about using the technology for basically improving your life and improving everything around you. So do you think that this is still a gap that should be covered or basically should be bridged, like the education and the people and how hard it is? I know you don't want to use the word challenge and everything, but like how hard it is to deliver that.
Not the word difficult.
Difficult, sorry, So
look, some people say when I first onboard a country, and you know, a country manager is starting to get acclimated to their country, and certain parts of the country they're having challenges, their first reaction is, I can't grow in this region because these people got scammed and they'll never come back to crypto. And I challenge my teams. I say, those are the very people that have an appetite. We just have to change the perception. And it's easier to onboard someone with a bad experience, that's a hot take here, than actually onboard a brand new person who actually doesn't think there's anything wrong with the current financial system, right? And also telling someone, look, yeah, this one wasn't a good experience for you, but let me tell you why it wasn't a good experience for you. It makes people feel good. Okay, so I'm not the only one who messed up. Okay, if I learn this, I can actually do this again. Like I said, they had an appetite before. It can come back. They're halfway there. It's easier to convert them back. So yeah, that's the answer for your question.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in this space for like 4 or 5 years now, and we've been scammed left and right.
We all did.
Yeah, and like, but I find comfort in the fact that like 99% of this industry has been burned like at least once. So yeah, I fully agree with what you just said. So to wrap it up, because we have time constraints,
Sure.
What would you like to say to someone who's watching this? What step they should take next in order to be part of this movement that you guys are promoting?
Well, you can be part of this movement multiple ways. We are usually after users. We try to find users, but if you're a developer, you want to be involved because you understand the mission and you care about the mission, you can come to our meetups, you can encourage people, you can cheer newly onboarded people. If you're crypto curious and you're trying to figure out how to get into crypto, understand, find a close chapter to you. We currently cover 5 different languages. Find out if we are in your country. If we're not, how can we be in your country? Are you interested? Are you that person? Can you do what we're doing every day? That's another thing. And then if we're not covering your country and you're not interested in being, part of this team, but you're interested in finding out our curriculum and educational content, attend to our online events. Like I said, we cover 5 different languages. There's a chance that we cover the language that you speak. So that's how.
Well, thank you, Thep, for
Thank you.
spending time with us today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
And we look forward to meeting with you again soon.
Thank you. Same here. Thank you, guys.